guys, so I am loaded up with seed right now with the green truck, and I'm headed down to Grandma's. Dad is headed down to Grandma's also. We're gonna get going planting, and I'm gonna end up taking over and planting that backfield down on Grandma's. Dad's gonna come back here and load up the sprayer and do a load of spraying. He's gonna go down to Shins where we were last night and spray that veal barn field, and then he's gonna come down to that backfield on Grandma's where I'll be planting. And once I finish that and get the planter out of the way, he's gonna spray that field, and we'll move down to the other field down on Grandma's that needs to be planted and get that field done, and probably end up moving to the river today because it's not gonna take us too long to plant Grandma's. Go through here and give you guys a little bit of a cab tour of what we've got going on in the 4650 here. So here we've got the ATU unit. This thing I believe we bought back in 2007 when we first bought Auto Steer, and we're running RTK on here with the 2630. We just use the 2630 for guidance. We don't do any as planted maps with it, as our computer on the planter is old enough that we still need to run a brown box, so all of our as planted maps come from the 2020, as you can see here. This switch here is to turn the in-furrow on. We use the Hanna monitor here as a rate controller for the in-furrow. Here's our clean sweep box for the row cleaners so we can air adjust these. And then here's the planter control box for folding and unfolding. The air compressor on the planter there is for the downforce. We run air force, downforce, so essentially airbags on each row. So pneumatic downforce on all the rows. And we also use the same air for our clean sweeps to adjust our row cleaners. So what we're planting out here is Pioneer 1077. That's a new number for this year, and that's a 110-day variety. And we're dropping that at about 29,000. Our in-furrow tank is mounted on the front of the tractor, and we run that at about 3 gallons of the acre. And like I said earlier, we control that with the Hanna monitor. And we monitor it with those red balls, as you see back there on that side of the planter, and over there on that side of the planter. Our starter tanks are all the way across the planter here. If we filled them clear full, we could hold about 560 gallon. They hold about 70 gallon each, and there's 8 of them. Now granted, obviously we cannot fill those completely full on a fill up, so we do our best to try and evenly fill them the best we can all the way across the planter. We can do about 20 acres on a starter fill up. We run that at about 20 gallons to the acre. The reason why we love our planter setup so much is because it has the seed and the starter evenly distributed all the way across the planter. Someday though, it would be nice to have a central fill planter with a weight distribution kit on it to evenly distribute the weight across the planter, and have a centrally mounted tank for starter. That way we don't have issues when filling up with starter and having any issues on trying to make sure all the tanks are even. See, this is what I was talking about the even fill. Usually this tank and this tank are always the fullest ones when we fill, and then the rest of them are kind of a lot farther down than these front two. So I'm going to shut it off here at the truck, let it kind of overflow across the planter here, and after a few minutes here I'll kick the fertilizer back on and top these tanks off. I honestly don't need a full load to finish what I've got left here. There's only about 8 acres left here to finish, and then there's about 16 acres that we're going to move to later on after we get this field finished. I do have the in-furrow recirculating right now. After I get done filling up with starter, I'm going to go ahead and top off that in-furrow tank, that way that's full. Later today we're going to have to end up going and getting some more starter, and our in-furrow tank will probably be down around 300 gallon, and there's about 500 and some gallons sitting there in the shed at the farm in 2 IBC totes that we're going to end up pumping into there, which would be the last of the in-furrow that we're going to need for the year then. There's about 16 acres there, and then we'll have Grandma's finished up then. Last pass for this field. There's about 8 acres left in this field. We're having some issues with the brown box. The brown box keeps acting up and having some issues with that, so hopefully we can make it through the rest of the season, basically the next couple of days, without any more issues, and maybe look into converting the brown box and shuttling everything into the 2630, because I guess our AMS guy said there's a way that you can do that. I'm not entirely sure how you do that, but I guess there's a way to do that. I'm headed on over to Malden, over to Co-Alliance to get some more starter with the fertilizer tender. I'm going to get about 4,200 gallon and split it between the two tanks, so I'll get about 2,100 gallon in each tank. And Dad's on his way over to the river. He's just going to take the planter straight on over to the river, and Grandpa's going to come pick them up, and they're going to come back and get the green truck and move back to the farm there. Before I take the fertilizer tender over to the river farm, I'm going to swing past the farm, and we're going to pump all that in-furrow in the shed that we couldn't fit in here originally in this cone bottom tank, and pump it all in here, because all that will fit in there now, and that will be the remaining in-furrow that we're going to need to finish up over at the river farm and the Stark County farms. Honestly, this is the first time I've had to wait since I've come here. Not sure if he's full or if he's waiting to get filled yet, but we've got two tenders over there from Co-Alliance getting filled. There's a tanker sitting behind that far one over there on the far left over there. just left Malden. They've only got one pump there, so it's on a first come, first served basis basically, so it's in the order of whoever shows up. I had to wait for a couple guys to get filled up, and then it was my turn to get filled. I'm headed back to the farm now, and we're going to load up the rest of that in-furrow, and then we're going to work on getting everything moved on over to the river farm then. That's a Great Plains. I didn't even know there was one of those around here. Got the in-furrow loaded up. Dad's on his way over to the river with the green truck and a load of seed. I'm going to take the fertilizer tender over there and we're going to get to planting. Dad's all filled up with fertilizer and seed. I'm going to go back to the farm and load up more seed and come back on over here and see how he's getting along. Seed's loaded up. Let's head back on over to the river and see how Dad's doing.